should, referrals and concerns. Anybody have any referrals and concerns to report this evening?
I have a concern. I asked, I guess, Clerk Salentine a question. I asked on 2 weeks ago today, via email, January 10th, 2013, to have three items put on the agenda tonight. And that's my right as board member to do that, and then one item ended up on the agenda, and I would like to know why. So I'm asking her to answer the question, please.
She's not responsible for the agenda, I am.
Well, by
Under
town
Robert's
ordinances,
rules.
by town ordinance, the town clerk is responsible for the agenda. May she answer the question first?
Per Robert Rules of Order, the chair of the group is responsible for the agenda. I can delegate it, but I have total responsibility, whatever that means. That includes if there's any errors made by Jamie, it's mine, so I will answer the question.
I can't wait.
The answer is there was nothing submitted for those items. So by 4 o'clock on Thursday, per our ordinances, your supporting documentation with what you want on the agenda and why needs to be submitted. Such an item was not delivered. Just to have an item on the agenda for discussion, is that what you're looking for? That doesn't meet with our ordinances.
I quite think it does. And in fact, I read you, do I need to read it again, from the October 11th, 2012 minutes? I said if we're not having staff meetings, then supervisors have the opportunity, the privilege, the right, the prerogative to put things on the agenda, and your response was certainly, and I said thank you. And now I find out it can't be done.
There is a process by which items go on the agenda, and the chairman of any group has the right to determine when those items go on the agenda. Your relief is to do exactly what you're doing right now, which is under referrals and concerns. If a board member does not feel as though their request has been handled appropriately, they can put it to a vote here on the floor at any point in time during the course of the proceedings on any agenda day. And it can be then, if it's approved by the board, can be moved to that next agenda item.
So my question, I guess I'll ask you straight out then. If I ask to put something on the agenda that you don't want on the agenda, you think it's your prerogative not to put it on the agenda. Do I hear that correctly?
If there's an item that has no submission to it, that's correct, and has no supporting documents as our ordinances require, I have the prerogative to toss it because we don't even know what it is for.
Well, let me ask you this. The item that we just went through with all of the emails and so forth of Supervisor German, where's the supporting documentation for that? Is it the boxes sitting over that? I don't have anything in my packet about that.
This is a historical event that we're doing an update for the public. Your items were due.
On your item.
Well, there it is.
Oh, well, I didn't get that in an email, thank God.
We're lucky for that. This is the third update of this item, so I think it kind of qualifies as something different. I mean, one of your items is to improve the process by which we, avoid the need for budget amendments? And that should be handled best when
if you can read the agenda item, I think we can carry this on another day. I guess I will even ask Attorney De La Mora here. Would you please, sir, review our town ordinances and see whether a member of this town board has the prerogative to put an item on the agenda? And I'd like to see a written report from you in that regard.
We don't have to spend more money from Attorney De La Mora. I've called the Department of Justice to determine what the appropriate process is, Mr. Fisher, because I certainly anticipated your question.
Oh, and who did you talk to at the Department of Justice? Is this federal or state or what is it?
It is state, and I'd be happy to get you the information. But the bottom line,
I'd like to have that report.
There was not a report. I will give you my findings, and you can check it out for yourself if you'd like.
I'd like to see that, you betcha.
Yeah.
So that would be a state statute, not a...
Guys, there can't be a free-for-all in any organization. That's why Robert's Rules of Order exist. And you, Mr. Fisher, was the one that brought it up. And I believe in a previous meeting, we actually all bought and received these guidelines because Robert's Rules of Order does not apply in every circumstance. You have now all been issued a guide to...
Show me the book in there where it prohibits a member of the town board from placing something on the agenda? Show me where
It says very specifically that the town chair is responsible for the agenda. Your relief is just as I've indicated. The DOJ was very happy to see that we include regularly a referrals and concerns section. That is where you voice your concerns and you get the feedback from your fellow board members to see if there's an item they wish to discuss.
Well, I guess I'd like to ask my fellow board members, do you support the right of a member of this board to place something on a town board agenda? I'd be anxious to hear from the three of you.
Well, I certainly say yes, of course. That is not the question. The question is the veracity. You provided no supporting documents. You were asked to provide information as to your questions. You provided nothing.
You didn't ask any.
I asked you at the last meeting because you had indicated concerns about our process with financials and how to avoid, and I asked you to delineate those because we could answer your questions, and you provided us nothing.
I was under apparently the misguided assumption that this was a representative democracy and there were 5 members of this board. Apparently I'm misinformed.
Mr. Fisher, we're all trying to do our jobs. You are trying to take the agenda items and simply pontificate. If you would like to provide, as our ordinances require, by 4 o'clock, the Thursday before the meeting, supporting documents and your request, it'll be more likely to be invited onto the agenda than to simply say, I demand, and with no supporting document.
More likely to be on the agenda?
If you have something, do you not think that it's important that items are on the agenda when there's sufficient time to review? And a budget item or anything related to financial would be better placed at a time when we have other financial items so that we can group them and have appropriate people here. If you have concerns, ask the question. Perhaps we can address some of these issues instead of being on display here regularly. I know this is your forum, but it would be nice for us to get along and simply let us know what it is that you'd like to know, and we can do it proactively for you. Instead of agendizing everything, just to pontificate. We are on, I believe, to accounts payable, the authorization of the payment of the bills. Let's get the amount. Do you have the amount here?
$118,708.11.
That's Mr. Fisher's motion, or excuse me, Mr. Laska's motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Discussion. You first.
Yeah, I would like to know if any of the bills on there for payment exceed the amount that was budgeted and allocated for those line items, specifically the legal bills. And I see that is posted for 2012 payment. Am I not correct that we are significantly overspent in that budget by over $100,000 for 2012?
You want to feel that?
Sure. Every week or 2 weeks, for the public, what do you guys think? We're running to town hall and we get a copy of the bills, we get a copy of this check detail, and available to us at any time is a detailed breakdown of any account that any supervisor wishes to get. I know, so I ask for them. Jamie, would it be fair to say I'm a pain in the rear end about asking for them? Because I ask for them all the time. We can discuss with you our legal bills. We are over our budget. We aren't even close. But if you want to discuss the legal bills, don't discuss the amount. Discuss the process and the decisions that led to the bills. Because we discussed here at the budget meeting that process and the pieces that made up those bills. And I'll tell you that unanimously, the town board voted to take every legal step that this town has taken. Unanimously. We authorized every attorney. We authorized every firm by a vote. The bills are the consequence of the policy decisions that the board made. I'm proud of the decisions that we made. They're appropriate decisions because they represent the town well. In every legal case except one, it's my opinion that the town had zero option but to engage a legal strategy to defend either the treasury or the rights of the town. In one option, which is the infamous snowplow case, you could argue we had an option. We could have ignored that, but we didn't, and we felt unanimously at the time, there were three of us, that we were wronged as a town, we were overcharged, and we had gone on a legal strategy to protect the treasury of the town and to, quite honestly, break a contract that had extremely aggressive language that was to the detriment of the town. We followed that legal strategy and that legal advice, and it led us to a settlement. We can debate whether or not we agree with the settlement or whether or not we agree with what this attorney did or that attorney did, but we did it. It has consequences, and I stand by those decisions and those consequences. Are we over legal budget? Yes. Do we look at these bills? Do we have that information available to us? Yes. Do all the supervisors ask for that information on a regular basis? I don't know. I don't think so. And I don't really care if they do or they don't. I do when it's a concern, and I know our legal bills are over. But I will tell you, when you look at the end of the day, the end of the year, we close our books, you will find that even after, this is important, after capital expenditures, this board has been in control of the treasury of the town, you will find that we've spent less money and returned money to the treasury. You will find that we have, through that process, developed the ability to create a capital investment program that will replace aging fire trucks, other aging equipment. Somebody else on the board might say, well, Joe, there you go again, pontificating and carrying on. But I welcome any one of you that's sitting in the audience or anybody that listens to this on the YouTube video later. Give me a call, be happy to sit down. We started with our budgets in 2010. We managed that budget. It was already in place. Our first budget, Angie, myself, and Everett, was the 2011 budget. Be happy to be held accountable for every decision we make. Call me up, we'll sit down and talk.
Very good, Joe, but that wasn't a question Mr. Fisher asked. He asked if there was money in the budget 2012 for the attorney. So you say you constantly ask, where are we at with that figure, Joe?
We're over that amount.
By how much?
I don't have it in front of me, and you hold me to the penny, so I'm not going to.
No, I won't hold you to that. I won't even hold you to the $1,000.
We're over significant, $120,000 plus.
So you didn't ask to see that. So if we have
Because I know we're over.
Okay,
And
but
I also know we don't have the ability to turn a blind eye and say, okay, we're not gonna pay those bills. We hired those attorneys, we told them to go do a job for us, we incurred the debt, and we agreed to hire the attorney. Now we need to pay the debt. And if people don't wanna approve it, we need to do a budget amendment on those things, people don't wanna approve it. It's a great debate for the town of Waukesha to consider, it's a great debate for, the town of Waukesha residents involved in the corporation, for them to come to the meeting and understand whether or not that was an effective strategy. If we lose that land and $70,000 in tax base rolls up against the rest of the residents in the community, we can discuss whether or not that's a good investment for us to agree to try to save that land. And I'll end with this. During the budget meeting, when I presented a PowerPoint presentation that described each and every legal decision, the voices that were spoken asked us why we wouldn't spend more and put more in those legal fights because they felt that they were justified in their own.
And one of the people that spoke was your neighbor. Now, that was still not the question. You keep evading it, going around it, beating
Jamie,
the
do you
bush.
want to print out the document?
Joe, the question was, if we're over, why did we not do budget amendments?
Because
Is
we're
there
not
money?
required to do budget amendments routinely. We are not taking the money out of the general fund. It is a ridiculous conversation. We've been over this. You have a document from the town of Wisconsin Towns Association. This very group didn't do budget amendments until March. Okay, Mr. German, you did budget amendments in March. So stop it.
How much have we put back into general fund?
Stop it. This is,
2012?
we are now paying the bills, and you wanna come in and go through the monies anytime, let's have it. It is now 10 o'clock. We need to pay the bills. We have a motion on the floor. We have a second. I am calling for the vote. Jamie, let's do a roll call vote.
Chairman Van Sock,
Yes?
Supervisor Bansky,
Yes?
Supervisor German,
Nope.
Supervisor Laska,
Yes.
Supervisor Fisher.
No.
All right, we look to adjourn the meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor, thank you, Mr. Lasko. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
I am here.
I mean, listen, it is. It's horrendous, and